We will call this meeting to order. Have to do it all over again. Motion for approval of agenda.
So moved.
All in favor? All right. We will now be led by the Parkwood High School Junior ROTC in the Pledge of Allegiance. Let us all stand. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May be seated. We will now be in the hands of our District 1 Reverend John Kirkpatrick for the John H. Crowder Service Award.
For over 3 decades, John H. Crowder dedicated his life to supporting the youth of Union County. In honor of his enduring contributions and lasting impact, the Union County Board of Education presents the John H. Crowder Service Award every month to recognize exceptional high school students who actively contribute to their school and community. Recipients of this award excel academically and possess a well-established track record of community involvement. Tonight, we award the February John H. Crowder Service Award to a Cuthbertson High School senior. Jaslyn Trabanino Rodriguez excels in advanced placement courses, especially in her areas of interest, history and English. With a rigorous course load and outstanding GPA, Jaslyn ranks among the top in her class. Her curiosity and dedication sets the standard for her peers. This year, as a peer tutor in science, she guided students while modeling perseverance and hard work. Jaslyn is an active member of the Spanish Honor Society, National Honor Society, Beta Club, Future Farmers of America, and National Art Honor Society. As a leader, Jaslyn has served as an Interact Club Council representative, a school ambassador, and a student body vice president. In these roles, she has collaborated and served with integrity, achieving success while earning the respect and admiration of students and staff. Each November, Jaslyn volunteers with Samaritan's Purse, organizing items for Christmas shoe boxes for families in need. She also volunteers at local elementary and middle schools, helping to organize after-school academic and social events. She assists the Concord Police Department with events such as community outreach and inaugural office ceremonies. At her church, Sacred Heart, Jaslyn volunteers in the summer camp, serves meals for the homeless during the holidays, and collects food items for the church pantry. As a proud first-generation student, Jaslyn embraces the values of hard work, resilience, and ambition instilled by her parents. She plans to become an immigration attorney and has been accepted to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and Wake Forest University and awaits more decisions. Board members and those who are joining us tonight, please join me in congratulating Jaslyn Trabanino Rodriguez as the February 2025 recipient of the John H. Crowder Service Award.
You got a big crowd to see you tonight. We will now be under the hands of Dr. Plough and the recognition for the Influencers Award.
Good evening. We're excited to celebrate 2 outstanding employees who have been named UCPS Influencers for February. This program recognizes the dedication, passion, and exceptional work ethic of UCPS staff members who go above and beyond daily. What makes the UCPS Influencers Program special is that these honorees are nominated by our staff, students, families, and community members, the very people who witness their positive impact every day. I am honored to present Jaboa Dahl, a science teacher at Union County Early College, and Laura Shea, a school nutrition assistant at Weddington High. I will now invite the nominators to the podium to read their submission and recognize the honorees' accomplishments. Sherelle Fleming, can you please come up?
Good evening. I am Sherelle Fleming, a school counselor at Union County Early College. Mrs. Dahl, please come forward and join me. Jaboa Dahl serves as an inspiration to many. As a current chemistry teacher at Union County Early College, she is dedicated to her students and her community. A proud graduate of Union County Early College, she attended the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and returned to give back to her alma mater, just as her teachers once supported her. Jaboa consistently goes above and beyond, often sacrificing her planning time to tutor students, even those not in her class, to help them bridge academic gaps in college-level chemistry. Many upperclassmen have noted that her high school instruction has thoroughly prepared them for the rigors of college coursework. Additionally, she actively supports student engagement by sponsoring 3 clubs, providing opportunities for students to explore their interests. Her commitment to student success truly makes a difference. Yes.
Next to the podium is Ann Watson.
Good evening. I am Ann Watson, a cafeteria manager at Weddington High School. Ms. Shea, would you please come forward and join me? Laura gives her best each day to ensure top-notch customer service, preparing the best food while also taking time to speak with staff and students when they come in. Some of the kids call her Mama Laura. Laura enjoys her job, and it shows through the years of experience she brings. She helps me train kitchen staff and keeps me informed about what kids want to see more on the serving line, as long as it fits within the guidelines. When she was out due to a medical situation, the kids and staff asked daily about her. And some even sent her cards, and we are truly blessed to have her. She has 20 years of service with us.
I will now read the UCPS Influencers Proclamation from the Board of Education and Dr. Houlihan. Whereas the Union County Board of Education values the hard work of each employee within the district. Whereas performance is an essential part of district operations. Whereas Jaboa Dahl and Laura Shea exemplify the performance, dedication, and teamwork essential to the success of the district and its students. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Education for Union County Public Schools and Dr. Andrew G. Houlihan, Superintendent, hereby proclaim Jaboa Dahl and Laura Shea as the UCPS influencers for the month of February 2025. Congratulations on this outstanding honor, and thank you for all that you do to be a positive influence on others each and every day.
Congratulations to our recipients. We have one more recognition today. This is a special recognition, something that doesn't happen all the time. The NCCAT 2025 Barrows Welcome Fund North Carolina Beginning Teacher of the Year finalist Raven Spencer will be in the hands of Dr. Brock Wobel. Wambu. I said it right. I nailed it.
Good evening. Good evening, Board Chair, members of the Union County School Board, Superintendent. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. Would Raven Spencer please come forward at this time? She is joined by NCAP Board of Trustee member Justin Parmenter. We're grateful to have him here tonight. On behalf of the North Carolina Center for the Advancement of Teaching, it is my privilege to announce that Raven Spencer has been selected as a finalist for the NCAT 2025 Bros Welcome Fund North Carolina Beginning Teacher of the Year Award. This recognition highlights Ms. Spencer's exceptional contribution to the teaching profession and her remarkable impact on the students and community here in Union County. The Beginning Teacher of the Year Award was established to celebrate the creativity, resilience, and dedication of first-year teachers across North Carolina. Each year, more than 7,000 new educators enter classrooms statewide, and this award honors those who exemplify the best in the profession while addressing the unique challenges of beginning teachers. Raven Spencer will be attending a week of professional development with her fellow finalists in March. On March 27th, NCAT will celebrate all finalists at a recognition event on the campus of University of North Carolina at Greensboro. At NCAT, we are committed to advancing teaching as an art and a profession, and we are thrilled to celebrate Ms. Spencer as a shining example of this mission. Please join me in congratulating Raven Spencer on this outstanding achievement. We are pleased to provide you with this certificate recognizing you as an NCAT 2025 Bros Welcome Fund North Carolina Beginning Teacher of the Year finalist. Please give her a hand. In addition, on behalf of Empower, we will ask Lionel Grusland to come forward, and we'd like to present Raven Spencer a check for $250. Empower supports North Carolina educators in their retirement investment plans. I am thankful for Empower's support of education in North Carolina. Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight and celebrate this outstanding educator. We appreciate the Union County Schools for recognizing Raven Spencer as the NCAT Beginning Teacher of the Year program. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you all. And congratulations. Let's give her another hand. Next on the agenda is public comments. At every regular meeting of the board up to 60 minutes has been allotted for public comments. The board will not respond to public comments. However, a member may ask that the chair obtain clarification. Residents, parents, students, and employees of the district will receive priority on the list of speakers. If a speaker is not present when his or her name is called, the opportunity to speak will be considered waived. Only persons signed up may speak. Speakers may not give their time to another person or have someone speak on their behalf. Speakers may address the board for a maximum of 3 minutes. The board will not hear in open session. And again, I want to emphasize this. The board will not hear in open session complaints about the performance of school personnel, personnel issues, confidential student issues. Should a speaker wish to seek information or share items that may not be shared during public comments, members of the Union County Public School Cabinet staff are available to address your concerns or provide information. Cabinet staff members are seated at the table to my left. Before I call on the first speaker, I want to reiterate an issue that was brought before us from our law enforcement personnel. Our law enforcement personnel a few meetings ago wanted to create another level of security for the board members. So at the end of the board meeting, if in fact a board member desires to go into the audience and speak with someone, that is their prerogative. But we ask that no one comes up when the meeting is dismissed to the table. That just provides us, they felt that it provides us a level of security. A lot of times you'll be in a big room and you'll be so far away from the board or the commissioners or the city council. But here, they just wanted to provide us that layer. So please, we are more than welcome to go out to the crowd. I did so even last month, went out and spoke to different citizens. But please, when the meeting is over, please don't come up to the podium. Our first speaker is Dan Oshlander.
First they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. But that's not the end. We survived. We found welcoming countries, and we thrived. I am Jewish, I am a trade unionist, and I am the adoptive parent of an immigrant child. I stand before you tonight to speak out for those who are in peril today. Recently, many concerned parents asked this board if UCPS had a plan for ICE agents raiding our schools. They all received the same generic non-response as follows. As I heard and given from the first few days of arrest, the government is looking for those who have committed crimes and should have been processed before. Nothing have I heard that schools are targets for this. It may help you to reach out to the agencies who have this task and ask them what they are looking to do as it relates to schools. Those were your words, Mr. Chairman. This is wholly unacceptable. When asked to allay concerned parents' fears, you told them to figure it out themselves. It is ignorant of this board to presume that our schools will not be targeted. You do, in fact, have a policy for this. Board Policy 6-05 is titled Law Enforcement Involvement on Campus. Section B specifically speaks to the school administrator's obligation to verify that a valid judicial warrant exists for the arrest of a specific student before providing access to the officers. Now, what's missing here? Unlike many board policies, there are no administrative guidelines to define how an interaction with ICE would be handled or what measures would be taken to protect students. There is no guidance on a roundup or raid where officers are looking for someone rather than a specific person. Finally, Policy 414 provides no prohibitions on access to student data, including place of birth, unless a family every school year opts out of sharing that information. The time to figure this out and provide guidance for our administrators is now. Charlotte Mecklenburg did so last week in a public statement. Iredell did so yesterday. When a van full of federal agents shows up at one of our schools, it will be too late. Chaos will ensue. Is an attorney available to verify that a warrant is valid? What guidance do our school resource officers have? Without training and guidance, we will not meet our obligations to protect our vulnerable students. Members, you have taken an oath to protect and guide our schools. Mr. Chairman, you asked to lead this group. Step up and show us that you are the leaders that you claim to be. You wanted the titles, now you own the responsibilities that come with it. This is the time to act. Provide leadership in every building with the tools necessary to run a safe, high-quality school in the current environment. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Derwin Archer.
Thank you, and congratulations, Mr. Chairman, very pleased for that. I come tonight to express my support for the United States Constitution and for the laws of our land. I also want to express my support for our school board. I want to express my appreciation to each one of you for your efforts on behalf of our students and our county. I am concerned that there are those that would have some issues that perhaps may not be valid, that perhaps may be anti or counter to the law of the land. And I want to encourage you that there are people like myself who will support you fully as you cooperate with law enforcement at every level. We are a land that exists under rule of law, and I appreciate your continued support for that. I am thankful for the number of people that are here tonight. I'm grateful for the participation of our citizens, and I pray that many will continue to attend and pay close attention and to encourage and support you as they see fit. I thank you for the opportunity to share tonight.
All right. Our next speaker is Nara Valley.
My name is Naira Valle. I'm a resident of Union County. I thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I come before you to address an issue that's not only a matter of legal obligation. It is a moral and ethical responsibility for all of us, and that is to protect our immigrant students. In our diverse school community, we have students who come from many backgrounds, including those who are immigrants. Protecting immigrant students on school grounds is crucial because every child deserves a safe and inclusive learning environment, regardless of their background. Immigrant students often face unique challenges, including language barriers, cultural adjustments, and sometimes even fear of discrimination or separation from family. These students, like any other children, are entitled to the same basic rights: the right to feel safe, the right to learn without fear, and the right to grow in an environment where they are respected and valued. It's essential that we, as a school district, continue to commit to protecting all students, regardless of their immigration status. Schools should be a safe place for learning, a place where young people can build their futures without fear of being targeted or downgraded. When we ensure safety for all students, we send a message of empathy and strength to our entire community. Immigrant students who feel safe are more likely to engage in their studies, participate in school activities, and contribute to their peers and community. By providing that sense of safety, we empower them to succeed, not just in school, but in life. Educators and administrators, we must ensure that our policies and actions reflect the understanding that every student's dignity matters. We need to establish clear protocols to protect immigrant students from potential threats, be it from outside or within our school grounds. In conclusion, protecting all immigrant students is not just the right thing to do, but it's the law. In Pryor versus Doe, the Supreme Court ruled that all students have the right to education regardless of their immigration status. So by allowing ICE to have access to any student without a warrant, you are denying that student an education. So I urge this board to do the right thing and continue to protect all students. Continue to guarantee an education for all so we as a community can thrive together. Thank you so much.
Our next speaker is Taquita LeGrand. She's not here. Okay. I'm not here. Our next speaker is Thomas LeGrand. Our next speaker is Reverend Jennifer Stringfellow.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to our board members, Dr. Houlihan, our administrators, our law enforcement officers, and the community. I'm here really to follow up on an email, Reverend Benson, that people have already alluded to. My concern last week was that there is a community that is going to be unsettled by the changes in the recent laws. The changes in the laws are something that we might not have expected, but they happened. And a response of they're not going to come to our school is solely inadequate. I've asked for all of the board members. I emailed all of the board members. I thank you, Ms. Green, for getting back to me. I thank you, Reverend Kirkpatrick, for getting back to me. And I was feeling some kind of way because, you know, some of us, we worked together, volunteered together for years, and not even a boo. But it is our community that I am here to ask you to have compassion on and to respect, to give the families the respect of knowing that what concerns them concerns you. And it might be a little bit much for me to ask that because since you won't acknowledge that there's an issue, you can't really address it. So what I'm asking you to do is take a step back, acknowledge that there's an issue so that we can address it. Because the community, our community, all of us together are community. And even those of us who might not be immigrants should be concerned about our brothers and sisters. At least that's what I believe. When this meeting is over, law enforcement usually is going to come and they're going to stand. You've already given the charge. You know, we don't want to go over there and speak to you because we want to give you a level of security. Well, what I'm asking is that you give that same courtesy to this community by acknowledging that something changed and they need your input on how it needs to be handled. No one is asking you to break the law. Wake County Communities Public Schools, Durham Public Schools, Jackson County leaders, and the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education released statements regarding this particular issue. There's so many others, Virginia, Georgia, all over the place. And they have done that because they want to allay the fears of their community. They want to let their community know that they care. And I don't think that that's too much to ask. We all are in a new season and we are going to have to go through a lot of stuff. But we need to do that together and respect each other. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Erin LaCroix.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Erin LaCroix, and I am a resident of Wesley Chapel with 2 children currently in the Union County Public Schools. I myself am a proud product of UCPS and a graduate of Sun Valley High School. I have volunteered with an organization called Look Ahead America for over 4 years. Look Ahead America's mission is to educate, organize, and guide patriotic citizens in lobbying their state legislatures and local governments on America First initiatives like fighting corporate censorship, ensuring voter integrity, and advocating on behalf of the politically persecuted. On November 5th, the American people voted overwhelmingly for a mandate to turn our country away from fake identity politics and blatant racism that divides us all back to what makes America great and prosperous for all people equally. On January 29th, President Trump signed an executive order titled Ending Radical Indoctrination in K-12 Schooling. This presidential action's purpose and policy is that parents trust America's schools to provide their children with a rigorous education and to instill a patriotic admiration for our incredible nation and the values for which we stand. Look Ahead America's Pro-America School Board resolution accomplishes just that. Therefore, this evening, I present to you a Pro-America School Board resolution. This seeks to provide general guidance to the faculty and administrators employed in this school district on the education of our students regarding the history of the United States of America. It declares that the primary educational mission of this school district is to instill in our students a pride in the nation that our founders have created and to develop a clear, unbiased understanding of America's glorious history and the promise it holds for untold generations to come. We must instill in our students a love and respect of this nation, its history, institutions, culture, and people, and future, and to embrace our great honor to live not just in this nation, but for this nation, to work tirelessly to preserve and protect it, and as our founders did, pledge to its survival our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. This Pro-America School Board resolution expands on this school board's firmly held beliefs and core values that our country's history is the cornerstone of our children's education. Pride in our country's history is imperative to the rearing of our children, and that the parents' involvement and support is critical to the success of the student in both school and at home. The Pro-America resolution, if approved and adopted, reinforces that these core truths are upheld and enforced. I look forward to working with this body in order to get this resolution approved. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Our next speaker is Lily Oshlander.
I'm a student in Union County, and I am terrified for the future of my education. As history is repeating itself, funding for our schools is drastically going down and getting cut. Not only is funding for the schools going down, but programs in the Department of Education are getting cut majorly. The current president is willing and actively cutting the budget, or entirely getting rid of 112 programs, including arts and education, civil rights training and advisory services, disability innovation fund, special education parent information, special education student studies and evaluations, special education Special Olympics programs, strengthening minority serving institutions, and training interpreters for individuals who are deaf or deafblind. Today, I'm choosing to talk about the services that impact many students around the county, state, and country, but also those that impact me directly. I'm a disabled student that is very active in the arts, and while looking at me right now, you probably wouldn't guess that I receive special education services. Many years ago, my parents were receiving information on special education from me. I live with multiple life-threatening brain diseases, and for a while, I was not able to access standard education. Now, I'm currently ahead in my credits, taking multiple honors courses, but I have an IEP and receive remedial education services every week. These are the services that have allowed me to continue with my education. I'm going on my first college tour in a few days. Students with disabilities already don't get enough support in schools, and cutting these programs will make it 10 times worse. I'm 90% deaf and do not have access to a trained interpreter for my education. I have to rely on very expensive technology that often breaks. I also have to rely on my own personal technology that I have to take to school for some very unreliable captioning, but it's all I have to work with. If this was your education, would you want an interpreter that's able to interpret what's being said into your language so you can thrive in school? Do you want to be able to match the education levels of your peers? Because I certainly do. The arts have always been a major outlet for me, but not only for me, but many students all over. I mean, some of you are probably in art programs in your high schools. I am part of both the school's band and theater programs, and we are a nationally recognized band program. Our most recent award was 2 months ago. We've received numerous awards as well on the state, county, regional levels to show the excellency that we provide. Cutting programs like these will not only harm myself, but my fellow students, and also harm your reputation. Arts are a major thing that many people look at for funding, legitimacy, and excellence. And arts help more kids get into college than anything else. The more kids that get into college, the better your education system looks. So do we see how this is not only affecting us as students, but you yourself? These decisions are going to be made state by state at the state level, and your opinion matters. The state is going to ask what you guys think on this. As the Board of Education is supposed to be fighting for my education, I urge you to keep advocating for your students, staffs, and their families. A lot of students and staff can hardly make ends meet, so imagine how much worse it will be when programs like this get cut. When programs like this that they work for get shut down. I beg of you to please keep your students in mind. Think for 20 seconds before you sign a document that will end my education and the future of all the children in this county. Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Chris Harmon.
Chris Harbin, pastor of Wingate United Methodist Church here in Union County. Whom does education serve? It serves much more than individual students. It's a foundation for lives that comprise a community. Education gives employers a workforce to hire. Education raises the level of general skills as well as abilities to learn and think. That makes better workers, innovators, problem solvers, and entrepreneurs. Giving children a good, safe base from which to learn is a boon for an entire society, not just the individual children in the system. It makes for a population who can read, understand instructions, learn new skills, and navigate a world of new technologies and innovations. Trauma, however, changes how a child moves into and through an educational setting. We talk about trauma from things like death and illness and job loss and relocation and poverty and school shootings and the like. We rarely address the trauma associated with violent immigration policies. How do you listen to your teacher when you're worried about where you will sleep? How do you pay attention to your education when your classmate's uncle was picked up by ICE and no one knows where they are? How important is reading when your cousin's job site was raided and no one knows if he was picked up by ICE, lying dead somewhere, or in hiding? What kind of emotional and psychological state is a child in when they or their parents may be targeted at school, in the school pickup line, at a PTO event, or made hostage by officials intent on locating a relative? What is this school board doing on behalf of so many children and families under your care? The decisions you make affect the whole of society our children see, understand, and learn from. Do you want them to become well-adjusted adults? Or do you want them always looking over their shoulders and living in crisis mode? Fred Rogers told us to look for the helpers. Is that you? If not, aren't you undercutting the social structure you are charged with healing, maintaining, and strengthening? Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jen Sanders.
Oh, that's a hard one to follow up. I'm not going to lie. Okay. So first, I'd like to recognize Black History Month. And as a reminder that Black history is 365 days, not just 28. So we'll start there. And I appreciate the post that you guys put on Facebook, which brings me to why this room and the overflow room is full of amazing community members. We are here to talk about what this board is going to do publicly about supporting our immigrant community. Now, you've heard lots of different things here tonight, so I'm not going to repeat a lot of that stuff. But I would just like to add that we know that you have to follow state and federal law. Okay. Churches, hospitals, and schools were off limits. And it is your responsibility as elected officials and school board members to protect our children, which is who you took an oath to protect. So I understand the laws, but you also have the ability to write policy. You do it all the time when you want to get rid of gay people and trans people. So we really want you guys to take a moment, step back, step out of the whole indoctrination nonsense, and remember that these kids are in your community. They support us from top to bottom, okay? So I'm adding that because you look around this room and everyone stands up because these are the people that are actually okay to come out in public, but they have brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, parents that do not and cannot come out publicly because they're scared. And that's what we're dealing with. So we're asking you guys to take a moment so the look is why are they scared? Because yes, they are here potentially illegally. That doesn't make them less human. Okay? It doesn't, so the look, I'm just saying, these people are human here. So take that in consideration when you're making policy. If you say that ICE cannot come on school property, then that's fine. If they're outside the school parking lot on the street, there's nothing we can do about that. But our children should be able to go to school and be protected in that aspect. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit because I do want to talk about that resolution that was just brought up, America First nonsense. Reagan and I sat up here for months asking you guys to sign and talk and work with us about a resolution for vouchers and protecting public education. But instead you want to whitewash it and make it a racist doctrine. That is unacceptable. And I would like for each of you to go on to the Look Ahead America website, because I've already looked at it because I saw what was coming up. That is a bunch of horse baloney, first of all, okay? And then I'm going to finish it with one last thing. You know I will always advocate for the teachers. You can just cough all you want, Delwyn. I always advocate for teachers and paying our teachers.
Let's have order.
And that $200 increase for the stipend, we should reconsider that and give that to our teachers. Have a good day.
Our next speaker is Joel Down.
Good evening, Board of
Good evening.
Education, Superintendent and staff. My name is Joel Down, and I'm a resident and taxpayer of Wesley Chapel here in Union County. I'm here today to discuss a few topics at top of mind. On November 5th, the American people voted overwhelmingly for a mandate to turn our country away from the flood of illegal immigrants and woke ideology and back towards restoring an American First agenda. This includes, but is not limited to, deporting illegal criminal immigrants in our country, reestablishing that there are only two genders, male and female, and ending the government funding of mutilating children and sex changes. Therefore, I urge this board to comply with President Trump's executive orders and comply with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, including in the deportation of illegal immigrant children. I also encourage you to pass the resolution offered by Ms. LaCroix promoting the firmly held beliefs and core values of this country. Just like a culture or language, if we stop teaching it, it will eventually die out. We need to revive the 1776 spirit by teaching children about this nation, its history, its institutions, culture, people, and future, and to embrace our great honor, not only to just live in this nation, but to work tirelessly to preserve it and protect it, just as our founding fathers did. This includes by adding the Bible, God's inerrant word, as a required text in all classes, including history. As Mr. Ryan Walters, the Oklahoma superintendent, who recently made this a requirement, Oklahoma, said, the Bible is, quote, one of the most foundational documents used for the Constitution and the birth of this country, unquote. Proverbs 14, verse 34 says, the righteous exalts a nation, but sin is a disgrace to any people. Finally, these ideals can be encouraged by the board in other ways outside of the classroom. Therefore, I would encourage the board to consider adding activities that help with elections, such as some of the opportunities that students can use to participate for volunteer hours. These activities could include working the polls and election monitoring. These activities will hopefully foster a deep appreciation and understanding for our government and country. Thank you for your consideration.
There will be order. There will be order. The last thing we want to see is someone having to ask to leave. So please let us respect everyone. Next speaker is Aaron Muldoon.
Good evening. I am very sympathetic to the issue at hand surrounding the children, and I understand the desire to protect them. Unfortunately, if their parents made a decision to come here illegally, knowing that it could very well negatively impact their children's lives by breaking the law, the accountability lies with their parents. Should there be extenuating circumstances that result in ICE removing children, perhaps as a result of their parents' illegal actions, I don't understand the expectation, what it is of the school to somehow usurp that authority. I feel for these children as they are not responsible for the situation they are in, and I wish there was a simple answer to protect the innocent. However, agreeing that illegal immigration needs to be addressed does not make anyone a bigot, does not make them a racist, nor does it make them perpetrators of marginalized groups. Just as there is sympathy for those coming here illegally for a safe life, we want the same. So for anyone wanting to protect families from the consequences of the mass illegal immigration over the last 4 years somehow results in being labeled. I wish there was the same energy to protect the trafficked children, the missing children, and the murdered children during the last 4 years. The law is the law, and putting teachers and the Board of Education in a position to potentially act unlawfully is what is wrong and could result in devastating consequences for many. Thank you.
All right, and our last speaker is Cromwell Napoleon.
Good evening, Union County School Board.
Good evening.
My name is Napoleon.
I'm Josiah Crowell. I go to Mallow Creek High School. I'm a sophomore and number one on the junior varsity team. And I was 4 years ago where I was playing football, and I told my dad after practice, I don't want to play football. I want to play golf because it's my passion. Football has never been my passion. Fun to play. And my dad told me this.
I said, son, I don't want you to think that golf is going to be easier. In fact, golf is harder because most of the growth and development that you're going to encounter is going to be alone and by yourself. So with that in mind, our journey began. And so I created a program called Never Limit an Athlete's Mind for golf sports. According to an article written by Word in Black, 3% of golfers in the U.S. are Black. Our mission is to introduce more Black and brown youth to golf. Working with our coaches 90 minutes per day, 4 days per week, we can change the narrative. Our youth learn the 5 phases of the game: putting, chipping, pitching, long irons, driving, course management, and course etiquette, and 12 key vocabulary words. Help us change those realities. Kids that have hope don't kill each other. Basketball, football, and baseball are the only sports 98% of the kids we serve ever played. If they are properly exposed to other options by the time they're in the 6th grade, they have
great characteristics of integrity, grit, and shows very great sportsmanship to other players, and also works through adversity. Help us help them have better sports out there for them than I have myself. And my dad opened my eyes to that.
I taught kids golf at a program called Urban Promise in Charlotte. I taught them that this past year, and these were kids in the Hidden Valley community that had never been exposed to it. Now, I'll be back there in all of the Urban Promise schools. I'd like to do the same here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Napoleon. Mr. Napoleon.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. One of our staff members is going to, cabinet level members are going to talk to you right now. Thank you all for those public comments, and we do receive them all. Motion for approval of the minutes from January 14th.
Second.
All in favor? All right. Motion for approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
All in favor? All right. We're now for our superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Some feedback. Okay. A little better, kind of.
You have a little bug.
Oh. All right, I'll just try this. There we go. Good evening, everyone, and thank you all for being here. We have several comments this evening, beginning with the fact that it is time to welcome the class of 2038 as kindergarten registration begins. Big ask of our community to please register your children for kindergarten for the upcoming school year. Our registration process takes place via Scribbles, and parents can access the portal, the kindergarten handbook, and open house dates via the UCPS website. There are also quite a few recognitions and celebrations this month, so please join me in recognizing these employee groups. First of all, we are recognizing this month our school counselors. Please send a nice note of encouragement and appreciation to our school counselors who go above and beyond every single day for our students and our community members. Thank you to our school counselors for all that you do to support Team UCPS. It's also Love the Bus Month. I want to say, and Bus Driver Appreciation Week is next week. Please join us in celebrating our transportation staff and drivers as well. And finally, it's also Career and Technical Education Month. I want to give a big shout out to our CTE teachers and to our CTE director. Board, we do plan to name our CTE Teacher of the Year at the end of this month, and you all be invited to join us. I also want to acknowledge that it is Black History Month, and this year's theme is African Americans in Labor. We certainly celebrate the remarkable contributions of our African American community and all that they have contributed and made contributions made to education, the workforce, in our country. And finally, I do want to take a moment to address some of the concerns we heard tonight. I want to reiterate the fact that the safety and well-being of all of our students in Union County Public Schools remains a top priority. We are all committed to maintaining a safe and supportive learning environment for all students at all schools every single day. We have a fantastic relationship with law enforcement partners in this county. We are in constant communication with them on a daily basis about any and all issues that may impact our students, our schools, and our local community. We are not aware of any current action by law enforcement regarding immigration matters in any of our schools, and we are not aware of any future plans for such. We also have policies and procedures in place to handle if such is presented. Just as you've heard from other school systems in the nation, and as we have done in the past working with law enforcement, if documentation is proper and provided by that agency, our legal team will review it thoroughly. And if our general counsel believes that paperwork to be accurate and legitimate, we will comply with such. We have given guidance to our principals. Last week we did that. We did outline our protocols regarding student safety at all times. We will continue to follow updates related to this matter. And again, I want to reiterate to all of our students across all schools that your safety remains a top priority in Union County Public Schools each and every day. I will ask Mr. McGraw, who is our Assistant Superintendent for Student Support. He is our direct point of contact with law enforcement and student support issues. If there's any comments that you'd like to make that I did not, or any other guidance you'd like to provide for our community and our board, please do so.
Conversations have been with our Union County Sheriff, our chiefs of police that serve our schools, that have SROs that serve our schools. First of all, I want to make sure everybody understands the safety and security of our students and our staff is our top priority, just as Dr. Houlihan said. Sheriff Kathy, the chiefs of police that serve our schools, we've all discussed this. Currently, there's no plan to change anything we're doing over the last 10, 15 years. I've worked with them. There's no plan for them to come into our schools. That is always a last resort. They try to connect with students, staff, families outside of our schools. I will say, if law enforcement, they are great partners. If they ask us to, if they give us a legal, legitimate order, warrant, whatever, we review that with our legal counsel, and we will comply with legal, legitimate orders. But I do want to reiterate, just as Dr. Houlihan said, our students, our staff, the safety and security of all students and staff is our number one priority. Thank you, board members. Thank you, Dr. Houlihan.
I'll go ahead and just declare that our sheriff works very well with federal agencies. Matter of fact, this county is often used for training, and so his relationships with them goes deep, as well as our chiefs of police here in Union County. So number one on our agenda when it comes to students in schools is that there is a safe environment, and we will keep them as such. So I thank Dr. Houlihan and his staff for putting together a robust outline of our position. And when I was sharing the information that I shared to folks, I wanted people to make sure that they go to the sources. And so that's not a flip it. That is, when you want to answer, you go to those folks who can give you that answer. And we here at Union County Public Schools value and we appreciate each and every one of all of our personnel, both student and faculty. Next on our agenda is policies and administrative guidelines for review. Ms. Morris.
All right. Good evening, members of the Board of Education. There are 4 policies and administrative guidelines on the agenda for review, and I will try and answer any questions if you have any. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. Next on the agenda is the 2024-2025 Board of Education stipend increase. We have a motion that the document that was presented from our finance department dated February 4th, 2025, where it seeks a $200 increase. We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
You can go first.
Chairman Benchin, I have seen this and I'm a little concerned that we have a priority of a stipend increase and our teachers are still in need of finances. And we are just starting a new board tenure, and that is the second item or the first item that is being presented when we have more pressing issues than a stipend. Now, it is a very lovely gesture, but I believe we all know that we are not on this board to pay our bills. And it is an insult to every teacher in this county that is working hard every day. And we know that there are vouchers that are out there to defund public education. We have not spoken publicly about it. We have not put a resolution about it, but we are coming tonight for a stipend increase. And I think that this should not even be on this agenda. And I'll go ahead and let you know I will not be voting for that.
Okay, thank you. You have the large 12 districts up there, right? Okay, but what you don't have that's up there, the teachers' supplements. Okay, if you looked at this teachers' supplements over those 12 districts, they give it more than we have done all the time. We're 50 of 116 with teacher supplements. We cannot use money for anything else. We have to do something for our teachers this year. And I'm a no.
Any other comments?
I do. I mean, obviously, the finance committee, we saw this and it didn't move forward out of finance. I mean, it was, none of us made a motion to move this forward, but it is on the agenda tonight. There was a stipend increase that we received in 23, and staff brought that to us as a recommendation because we were lagging so far behind. They were concerned. But I just feel like I'm definitely a no on this because I agree. We know that our teachers are not getting paid enough. We know that the state situation is probably not going to show our teachers getting a big increase. The only way we can do it is with a local supplement. And I mean, do we have a plan for that? Because I think that should be the priority.
I echo everything that's been stated. And I mean, there is a time, excuse me, a time to bring matters like this up for full transparency. And that's during the budget cycle. This happening outside of budget cycle, I am not in favor of in the least bit. So I would also be a no.
Any other comments? It's when I looked at these numbers and I looked at the 12 top districts as far as compensation, one of the things that I want to make sure, I'm here for 2 more years. I'm not running for re-election, and I'm definitely not utilizing elected office to enhance myself financially. But I did want to make sure that this board is properly compensated. We know that we can spend, if you're in the area of education, you can go through one budget cycle and you can roll out and we're going to always have needs. But when I looked at these numbers and what other boards of this type is getting, and I ran just some preliminary numbers, some of those wound up to be almost close to $50 an hour if you was to put it in hourly terms. And hours wound up to be about $5 and some change. And so I was just, I'm in favor of this simply because I want to see that this board is properly compensated. Ms. Heidel?
Yes, you didn't look at the teacher supplements over the 12 districts. If you look at it, we are, there's 2, Gaston and Cumberland that are larger than ours. That's it. So out of 12, 10 are, bigger than ours. So we have to give money to teacher supplements, not to us as board members.
Anyone else have any comments?
Okay, didn't we actually give them supplements though, the last time? If I'm not mistaken, didn't we speak about that? I want to make sure that, because from my understanding, that's what we did give them supplements at the last.
Still 50.
And we had it in the budget.
160.
The answer is yes. Any other comments? All right, we have a motion and we have a second. All in favor of the motion, raise your hand and say aye. Aye. All opposed?
John, Joe, and Kathy.
You have it?
Wow. You're going to have some pissed off teachers, just telling y'all.
Order.
I know, I'm out. You guys are bullshit. I'm out. Sorry.
Yeah, they can. The motion passes. Next on the agenda is board comments.
I have a comment. It has nothing to do with pay, and I'm sorry, but I listened to a lot of this, and I know what's going on with everything with immigration and ICE, and I just want to. It's she made comments about my face and everything. It's not because
I'm upset, but I am very much insulted because I am actually the direct child of immigrant parents. My parents came here from Buenos Aires and on work visas, but they came here legally. Okay. And I struggled my entire life with my parents living in a 1-bedroom apartment in New York. There were times we didn't have enough money to eat. And so I get it. I get the struggle, but we are a country of laws. We are a country of order, and we are here to protect our students. Absolutely. But we have policies in place for that. And we've tried to address this to the people. I'm not sure. I feel like some of this anger and outrage seems to be a little bit misplaced because, again, we're going to protect our students. As Dr. Houlihan said, we have policies, we have sheriffs, we have law enforcement. But if you're here illegally, that makes you illegal. That's the key word here, is what I want people to understand. But my family came here as immigrants, and we did it the right way. And they did it the right way. I'm the only one that was born in the U.S. Both my parents and my brothers all became resident aliens. Yes, they were called aliens. That was on their card, their green card. And then they all became citizens of the United States. And my dad proudly has his little certificate in a frame. But I just want to make sure that people understand, because they're talking about marginalized and like as if some of us don't know what's happening. I know, I feel it, I've lived it. So I 100% get it. And I feel for if there's, God forbid, students or anyone that's having to quote unquote hide. But again, you have to follow the laws if you want to be here. And that's just I just wanted to express from a personal standpoint what it's like to have to hear this, because to me it seems a little bit like an insult sometimes when people just assume that I'm racist or that I'm this, and I'm like, it has nothing to do with that. I know exactly what people are going through, and that's my take on the situation.
Any other comments?
Chair.
Yes.
I like to write, and I took some notes. I guess that's the preacher in me to take notes, but
Good thing.
I want to address the comments in reference to American history and all of that stuff, because as Sandra Green, she said that she's insulted. I'm insulted as a Black man whose family we are not identified as immigrants. We were brought over here against our will. And it's a shame that we have a society that does not want to identify that racism exists, even in 2025. There was a comment that was posted by a appointee of our president. And the comment said, "Competent white men must be in charge if you want things to work." Now, you do not have to be educated to hear that statement and to know that that statement is fueled with racism and division. But we have individuals still in 2025 who want us just to move on and not identify that it is still present. That is an insult to me as a Black man and to every Black child that is in UCPS. Now, we have a lot of division in this country. And the reality of it is it did not just come overnight. It was already in the works, and now it is just intensifying. When we talk about immigrants, historically, we realize that Ellis Island in New York was the pathway to over 12 million immigrants. Immigrants who did not come from Mexico, but they came from Ireland, Italy, and they were welcomed here with courtesy and respect. All of them, from historical investigation, if I can use that term in my history study, all of them were not legal. And the reality is there are individuals in here, some of my white brothers and sisters who are here today whose family members who came way before them did not come over here legally. As someone said, we are not trying to break the law, but it is a sad state that we are living in, that we are dealing with all of this hatred and all of this division, when the reality of it is, it takes all of us in this room and outside of this building to make this country greater. Because I don't understand this statement about make America great again, because I don't know when it was great. It might have been great for some, but it sure wasn't great for black folk. Okay, history will tell you that. Now, you can try to erase it all you want to, but I can bring my 88-year-old grandfather in here that can tell you how his father and mother were removed from land because my grandfather, he sold a crop and the owner of the land told him that he had to give him half of what he sold. And my grandfather said no, and he told him, well, since you won't give it to me, you need to find you somewhere else to go, because they were sharecroppers. So when we talk about the vision, it wasn't that long ago. No one is telling society to hold it over individuals' heads. But it is important that if we do not identify that there was a problem and there are individuals who makes posts like this, that there is still a problem that is festering in this community, we are never going to achieve great things academically, socially, or any other way that we try to. So at the end of the day, y'all can send stuff and talk about look at this and look at that, look ahead America. Let me tell you something, y'all can keep all of that. Because until America looks within themselves, there is no ahead. It may be ahead for some, but it will never be ahead for all. I'm done.
All right. Any additional comments? I want to take time to thank everyone. This is Black History Month. You know, about a week ago, I had the opportunity to go to one of the schools in the county where I passed, Richmond County, and had the pleasure of talking to one of the local schools out there concerning both Dr. Martin Luther King and Black History Month itself. And that brought myself as well as the audience there great joy. Want to take time out to also thank you, Dr. Houlihan, and your staff for receiving and preparing. And I had a chance to meet with all of the cabinet staff. And I want to say that I took that time so that I could get to know each and every one of them. And I want to thank your cabinet staff for making time in your schedules to sit down and talk and share. And I look forward to working with you all. If there's any additional segments of your department where you think that a visit from me might be beneficial, please don't hesitate. Facilities, I know we got quite a few places, and others I'll gladly come and share. I do look forward to going out to the schools on a visit. I know we have quite a few, but I'm gonna do my best before these 2 years is over to go and visit each school and to see them and to be amongst them and to hear their voices. And as I've said numerous times before, we live and breathe off serving the community. And we know that everybody is not going to always be in agreement. And we know that there's going to be issues at times that may be more intense an issue than other times. And but that's what this country is about. Our country has issues. Our country has concerns. But there's no other country where you can go and have what we have. It may not be perfect, but thank God for the United States of America. I learned that as a Marine, traveling a bit of the world, and I've been to other countries. And I can tell you with a surety, I'm glad that we have what we have, because some of the stuff that I've seen, let's just be grateful for what we have. So each and every voice on this board, that's their voice, and I welcome it. I welcome those that agree with me, those that don't, I welcome it, because that's what makes America grow and go. And so thank you to this board and to everyone else. And with that, we'll have announcements.
Finance meets February 25th at 8 o'clock.
SPIC committee meets on the 26th at 8 a.m.
Facilities Committee meets the 26th at 9 a.m. and then curriculum meets at 10 a.m.
Policy is February the 18th at 8 o'clock via Zoom.
You said policy February what? 18th.
18th, excuse me.
All right. Is that it? I'll accept the motion for adjournment. All in favor?